I'm going to tell you a story about freedom. You're going to find it very, very silly. I'll take the risk. I want to have freedom. I mean, don't we all? We want to be free. It's a basic human desire. We don't like it when we are forced to do things, right? And our commercial society has given us a lot of freedom. Many choices we're allowed to make. I tend to think of it as fake freedom. You go to the supermarket and you face 90 brands of soap and 120 brands of shampoo and 28 brands of detergent, so many brands of toothpaste, so many toothbrushes, and each of them has a lot of information printed in small letters. So to make a wise choice, you'd have to read all of these small letters. They will tell you everything about the wonderful, very particular and very unique qualities of each of these brands. Is this your idea of freedom? You can choose any of them? How does it make you feel? If you're like me, you probably have two ways of approaching it. One is overwhelm. It's just too much information, too much choice. Do I really want to spend all this time and mental effort choosing the right soap, the right shampoo, the right toothpaste every time? I don't. But I don't make a conscious choice not to choose. I simply get overwhelmed. And there's a second option. Just get the same soap I bought last time and the time before that. Grab it without thinking, mindlessly. I usually buy the same one, so my final choice is really to eliminate unnecessary choice. I don't want it. It doesn't make me feel free. It makes me feel overwhelmed. So let me tell you my story of choice. I'm warning you, you're going to find it really silly. So I decided to let me give you some background. I work with movement. I teach movement. I call it mindful movement because that's what it is. I work with movement in a mindful way. Really paying attention to the small details of what I do and how I do it. The basic idea behind it is that we can change, we can learn. Our brain is plastic and able to learn and change. Okay, so one day I decided I'm going to examine the way I put on my clothes and also take them off. It follows pretty much the same pattern. I had a suspicion that when I do it mindlessly, not paying attention to what I'm doing, which is the way I've been doing it for years and years, for decades, I do it the same way each time. Makes sense, right? I do it automatically without thinking. I have some kind of pattern that has already been learned and established at some point, very early in life, and I pushed it out of my conscious mind. I eliminated the need for a choice a long time ago, which is very useful. I don't want to waste brain energy on deciding how I'm going to get dressed every day. But I decided to take a look at it. Why? Because I enjoy taking things from autopilot and bringing them to my awareness, using my skill of awareness to examine them. It's possible that just by paying attention and playing with other options, I may improve in some way. What is there to improve in the way I get dressed or undressed? I don't know. I told you it's silly. Anyway, this was my hypothesis. I'm probably putting on my underwear, my pants, my socks, each time with one foot first, and probably the same foot each time. So I checked. And this is what I found, of course. I bet you'd find the same thing if you decided to pay attention to it. So I found out that it's always the same foot, the same leg that goes first. And given that I was paying attention, I started to play with it. I put the other foot first, but not always. Sometimes the habitual foot, sometimes the non-habitual foot, and I changed randomly. I did a different thing each time. Isn't it fascinating? For me it is, and I'll tell you why. This is how I create real freedom. And the freedom lies not really in selecting the leg each time. The real freedom is in the ability and the skill to do it. This process is important to me because it's a way to practice and improve my skill of awareness. The most difficult thing to do in this story, in this play with choices, is not doing it. It's not about putting my pants on with the other foot first. Okay, yes, I found it just a little bit awkward to do it the other way because the habit was so ingrained. But it wasn't really difficult. I can do it either way with ease. The real point and the difficult part of this exercise is remembering to do it. Remembering to pay attention and know what I'm doing. Because what does autopilot do? It functions automatically. That's the whole point. So if I manage to remember to simply pay attention and take the mental note, hey, I'm going to get dressed, which foot goes first? And I must do it before the autopilot kicks in. So I take this automatic action out of autopilot. That's what I'm aiming at, not the actual specific choice, the choice of whether I put the left foot or the right foot first. It's similar to choosing your soap in the supermarket. Who cares, right? And by the way, if you really care about which soap you're using, then this example doesn't apply to you. If this is the case, you may not allow your autopilot to make that particular choice for you. But we have millions of this kind of choices every day, choices we don't really care to make, that overwhelm us and fill our brain with unnecessary noise. So, why is creating a choice and insisting on making it day after day important? The main objective of this exercise is to train my awareness. Over time, it becomes less automatic and more aware. And as a result, where before I was functioning on autopilot, now I have a choice. A little bit of my awareness is in the act. It may have some small benefits in terms of symmetry of my mobility. By now, I'm not even sure which foot I was using habitually, because it became more similar, less awkward. So I use both feet interchangeably. I've eliminated some awkwardness in the non-habitual way of doing things. And also, it has to do with my sense of balance, with my control of balance, because I have to lift a foot. And now that I'm more aware when I get dressed and undressed, I play with it. I do it standing up. So I lift one foot and I stay for a little longer on one foot. I turned it into a game. For me, it's fun. You have all the right to find it silly and not want to bother with it. I'm not suggesting you should follow my lead and do this exercise. There are much more important components of our mobility that I would look at first. But the point I'm trying to make is a different one. Where is our real freedom? Does the fact that we can or even must make hundreds of choices every day make us freer? The kind of choice you have when you stand in front of a shelf in the supermarket and it has 59 brands of the same thing? Is that what freedom is all about? I don't think so. In that kind of environment where there is so much information to absorb, we're forced to make a million choices a day that we don't really want to make. I would actually create more freedom by eliminating choice. I want to be able to choose my choices. What is important for me? Where do I want to invest my mental resources and make conscious decisions? And how do I create a situation where I don't have to bother with all the rest? Recently, I took a 30-day challenge in a new meditation app. It's called The Way. I liked it. You know what it did? It gave you a daily meditation for 30 days without any choice. There was nothing to choose. You started with day 1, you followed by day 2, and after that came, yes, day 3. And you kept going. And it led you through the way for 30 days. I love the idea of following a journey rather than getting a library of meditations to choose from. It made it easy to keep going. It did it by eliminating choice. I also loved it because I did the same thing in my practice of daily mindful movement. I've created a series of sessions, hundreds of them. It's a different one each day, and it just gives you your daily session. Each of them is exactly 3 minutes. Each of them is different, and the invitation is to do your 3-minute daily session of mindful movement every day. You're invited to turn on your awareness to yourself in movement for 3 minutes every day. There is no choice. You don't have a library of hundreds of sessions to choose from. No, you do the next day. It's a given. At the time when I've created this, I didn't really think of this aspect of it, of eliminating choice. In this way, I help you move forward. You choose to do it. That's a conscious choice. You choose a path to follow and you take it, one step at a time. But you don't have to stop before each step to decide which way to go. That would be overwhelming, and when you're overwhelmed, you don't act. You'd be much more likely to quit. So here's my 2 pennies of the day. You want to be freer? Eliminate choices. Find a way to eliminate the unnecessary choices, the choices you don't want to make, the choices that are forced upon you, so that you're left with the choices that matter to you. Do I recommend that you start paying attention to which foot goes first when you get dressed or undressed? No, that is silly. That was my game. I do suggest that you decide to pay attention to yourself in movement for just a little while every day. That would be a good choice, a choice that favors learning, improvement, growth, more awareness, less automatic action. That choice would put you on a transformational journey. It would make you a better person. And if you want some guidance, some help that would eliminate the need to choose what to do every day, but guide you on a journey with a worthwhile destination, take a look at Persistent Growth. This is where I give you those 3 minutes of mindful movement. That's the kind of freedom that is worth pursuing. Have a lovely day.